You know here. It's an idiot sitting now.
Okay.
Is the next class time because it's 6 o'clock?
Hmm?
Is the next class time because it's 6 o'clock? And they are on already. They're gonna hear if you whisper.
So I should tell my journal.
Of course, yes.
I swear I didn't mean to be this late.
Everybody affected by it. It's not like it's a path that you chose. See there again. Yeah. It's not like a path that you chose.
I'm doing electrical at school and they don't have a teacher to teach my class. So tomorrow, I'm going to have to go to the teacher, one of the teachers, and get the syllabus from him. And see if I can kind of do it myself.
Yes.
Hello? Yeah, you can come from there. Or instead, since there isn't a teacher, I'm going to figure out that when I feel in the class time, when I feel in class time, I'm going to go over to the class. If he's going to allow
What's
it.
that? Yeah. Good afternoon, everyone. We are on. Well, of course, we don't have many students joining as yet. But in a few seconds, everyone will be joining. Now, of course, I have to choose the book that I prefer. And you hear this humming sound in the back. Well, know that it's gone. All right, so this is my book. And of course, this is your book. Your book is the new manual. For every module that I am about to present, yes, for every module that I'm about to present, if I have the old manual, I will use it. Now, be prepared to use your new manual. Nice and perfect bound, while I use my old manual, spiral bound. Welcome to everyone, and good evening to everyone also. What I realize is that the YouTube, there's quite a delay in the presentation on YouTube. Yes, good nearly half of a minute. So I have to give that some serious consideration when I am asking a question. Those on YouTube will take a longer time to hear. Now, we'll get into the meats and potatoes of what we intend to do. And if you get away with it today, you will not get away with it again, because you know that you need to have your manuals in order that you may go forward in the right way. So what I'm going to do I'm going to give you a few seconds. Yes, I will give you a few seconds to get your manuals, shuffle around a little bit, take a deep breath, sit up properly, because this evening you're not going to do one exercise, two exercises, three exercises, remember the card? 4 exercises. I guess you'll do at least 4. So let me just give you a few seconds to get into gear. That's nice, man. Okay, you all should be ready by now. And we will begin with your first topic in the book that we had some introduction to on Monday. And you have a few students who were not here on Monday. If you were not here on Monday, it's not too bad still. Now, directed numbers. And since I've been over there, we have others who have joined. So I'm also saying welcome to you all. And I am also saying good evening to you all. As I mentioned just now, directed numbers. Our first topic. The first topic, topic number 1, in your algebra instructional manual. Directed numbers. Why are they called directed numbers? Why? I said that on Monday for those who were here. Let me see if anyone remembered. Why are they called directed numbers? Why are they called directed numbers? there's anyone in the chat. Deals with direction. Excellent. So that's an excellent answer. The set of numbers have to do with direction. They can be considered to be existing in the opposing directions on a number line. So, hope these markers right. They will write. I'm going to give them 5 stripes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That does not look bright enough to me. I will have to change them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They don't look bright enough to me at all. So I think that I will change these markers to markers that you can see. Right, so the directed numbers may be shown to be existing according to the opposing directions on a number line, for which this one is the negative direction. And an abbreviation for a negative is minus VE. That's negative. All right. And for positive, can anyone put it in the chat what positive means? The abbreviation for positive? I'm going to look for it now. Thank you very much. Positive. Right. So that's the abbreviation for negative, and that is the abbreviation for positive. -1, -2, -3, -4, -5, -6. And I'm almost sure that we have more than 6 over here. Right. So that's your number line. Now, also, for the intents and purpose of working with directed numbers, you have to have a different mindset from the mindset that you had when you were in primary school. Right. Excellent. So I see it's nice to have Mr. Gordon here on TikTok. And I don't know if see no evil is male or female. Thank you for your answer. And thank Mr. Jordan Elliott, also on YouTube, for your feedback. So far, everything is going decent and in order. Now, for the intents and purposes of directed numbers, working with positive and negative numbers, this sign is a sign of a certain kind. That sign is your positive sign, it is your plus sign, it is your addition sign. It is your plus sign, it is your positive sign, it is your addition sign. Now, what about this one? Tell me something about that one. Anyone? Just give me that information in the chat. Tell me something about that sign. I'm going to look right here. It is your negative sign. It is your minus sign. And I need to see another word that begins with S. answers. That's very nice. And that is your subtraction sign. And that is from somebody by the name of J. And then we have also Mr. Gordon with that subtraction sign. Now, students, subtraction is really adding in the negative direction. Hence, directed numbers. So your subtraction sign is also an addition sign. Your subtraction sign is also an addition sign, and that sign adds in the negative direction. I wanted to go all the way down to here. Well, that's fine. Yes, this is also an addition sign. It adds in the negative direction. Also, when you were in primary school, you say 2 minus 8. I can't. No, I'm not the only one laughing. You say, but no, you know that you can. Because we have two numbers. This one is a positive number. This one is a negative number. The negative number is larger. It is carrying more weight. It is heavier than that one. So let's put that up here as number 1. The 2 is a positive number. The 8 is a negative number. The 8 is a heavier. It outweighs the 2. Therefore, the answer must show that the 8 is actually heavier than the 2. So the answer should be negative. And of course, the deficit is 6. And we look at the rule a little bit closer. Also, when we put that on our number line, we have 2. That is where you start. You start at 2. Let me put it a little bit higher. You start at 2. And what do? You add 8 in the negative direction. You begin at 2 and you add 8 in the negative direction. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And you will end at negative 6. So you begin at 2, you add 8 in the negative direction, and you end up with negative 6, which is your correct answer. Now, student, as discussed on Monday, when we see a number flying from outer space and landing right beside us, like this, then that number is a positive number. So a positive number 4 may be written like this. It also may be written like this. And if we write it like this, because of the linguistic nature of mathematics, because mathematics is not taught in isolation. Because of the linguistic nature of mathematics, we say that this is redundancy. Because we do not have to put a positive sign for 4 in order to indicate that it is positive, but it is not wrong to do so. So we may do so, but it is not necessary. It's an overstatement of the fact. So we are overstating the fact when we put a positive sign here, because without the sign, it is still positive. So if a number does not have a sign, then that number is positive. We say that a number is positive by default. Right? A number is positive by default. However, here's your question. If a number is negative, Is it necessary to accompany a negative number with a negative sign at all times? That's your question. Is it necessary to accompany a negative number with a negative sign at all times? Now, mathematics is a subject for reasoning. So let us reason that out then. What kind of a number is this? Is this a positive or a negative number? Is this a positive or a negative number? Positive. How do we know that it is positive and there is no sign? Because a number is positive by default. If there is no sign, the number is positive. Therefore, thanks for sharing the live. Thank you very much for sharing the live. Therefore, for you to write a negative number, it must be accompanied by a negative sign. Yes, a negative number must be accompanied by a negative sign. Now, our first rule pertains to the addition. We don't even have to say subtraction, because you know that subtraction is really addition in the negative direction. So if we say addition, then you know that your addition makes way for positive and negative numbers. So if we have a problem like this, negative 9 plus 7 minus 3 minus 8 plus 15. And the teacher says, students, take a look at this addition problem. And the teacher did not make any mention of negative or subtraction or anything. The teacher says only, students, look at this addition problem. Would the teacher be correct? I'm looking for the answer. Would the teacher be correct if the teacher said, take a look at this addition problem? So far, all who answered said no. And I just explained that this sign Students, is this an addition sign? Yes or no? Is this sign an addition sign? So I'm waiting for the answer. Is this sign an addition sign? The person who said that this sign is not an addition sign, I will make an excuse for you. You were not here at the beginning. So let me ask the class, what's the difference between these two science students? First of all, let me ask you, what is the similarity between these two signs? These two signs are similar. What are they similar for? On what grounds? On what grounds are these signs similar? On what condition? I see somebody inside there say that both of them are addition sign. Both, that's correct. They are both addition sign. Therefore, if the teacher says that this problem is an addition problem, is the teacher correct or not? Will the teacher be correct to say that this is an addition problem? Of course, the teacher is correct. Because you know that this sign adds in the positive direction and this sign adds in the negative direction. But they are both addition signs. Therefore, this problem is an addition problem. Therefore, is this problem an addition problem? The one that we have right here, number 1, is that an addition problem? For sure. So the YouTube presentation is behind the TikTok presentation in time. Yet still, the YouTube answers are ahead of the TikTok answers. Come on, students, you need to sharpen up your game. Pay attention, internalize what I'm saying to you. One of the main reasons for you being on this live in this class is because you are here to learn mathematics the right way. The answer is yes. This problem is an addition problem. And this addition problem involves numbers with different signs. Or we may say that it involves numbers with unlike signs. So when the signs are different in the addition problem or in adding numbers, if the signs are different, you subtract the smaller from the larger and the answer will take the same sign as the larger. And that rule is inside of your instructional manual. When we are adding numbers that have different signs, we subtract the smaller from the larger. The answer will take the same sign as the larger. And there's an exercise there. But I'm not going to give you that exercise as yet. We'll have to do this one first. And I'm always going to involve my schema. This time, I'm going to cause it to be longer and thinner. And the pans will be larger because I know why I will need to have them to be larger. Now, you can consider your spring balance, and this is your positive side. Right. What do we do? When solving the problem, you can consider that the 2 is positive. So the 2 will go on the positive side. The 8 is negative. So the 8 will go on the negative side. And of course, you can see that the side with the 8 is heavier. So that side is heavier. Because it is heavier, then the answer will go in favor of 8. It will go in favor of 8. That means it will go in favor of the negative side. So your answer will turn out to be negative. Or you can just take the rule literally, or you can make use of your number line. Now students, we have given 3 ways of determining the answer. You can choose all 3, any 2 or any 1, and the answer will be correct. However, it is important for you to make use of the verbal representation of it, because you will not have the time when you are in an examination to draw a schema or the number line. And you're going to have a lot of negative numbers moving all over the space. And that is why you need to do your exercise, both the one for the class and the one for your homework. Number 2,